The Nation of Yahweh presents The Unfolding Light. Today's show is brought to you by Builders of the Highway Foundation, Yahweh Life Center, Neo Jazz School of Music, Yahweh Education Centers, and the Temple of Brothers and Sisters of Goodwill. And now for your host, Dr. Lud Yisrael.
Shalom and welcome to the Nation of Yahweh's.
And now for our
the Unfolding Light. Today on Unfolding Light, well, before I even get to that, it's a great day in Yahweh. It's a great day to be here. And of course, I'm not here alone. I'm here with my co-host, Sister Tamar, Boker Tov sister.
Boker Tov, Shabbat Shalom, family.
And today on Unfolding Light, we'll have Who is Yahweh by the Most Honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh. Directly after that, we'll have a keynote speaker, a message from the keynote speaker, the master teacher, the founder of the Nation of Yahweh, the Most Honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh. And directly after that, we'll have the part where we all take part in Unfolding the Light, and we call it Power Talk. And now, without further ado,
and now for our prayer. If we will all stand and face the east with outstretched hands, O Yahweh, God of our salvation, save us, gather us together, and deliver us from this heathen, so that we may give thanks to thy holy name and glory in thy praises. Blessed be the holy name of Yahweh and Yisrael forever. O Yahweh, let them be confounded that persecute us, but let not us be confounded. Let our enemies be dismayed, but let not us be dismayed. Bring upon our enemies the day of evil, and destroy them with double destruction. O Yahweh, forgive our fathers for breaking your laws, and please forgive us for breaking your laws. Help us to never bring shame upon thy great name, nor reproach against thy works. For surely we have turned ourselves to thee, O Yahweh, trying to be upright. And as we confess our faults, please grant us protection against all of our faults. Cleanse us of our secret faults, and guide us to the best of morals. For surely our prayers and our sacrifices, our lives and our deaths, are all for thee, O Yahweh. Tefillah. Avenu Shabbat Shemayim, Yikadesh Shemeaka, Tavo Malkuteraka, Yad Zerizonka, Kim Vashamayim Kain Ba'aretz, Elekan Kukenu, Tain Lanu Hayom, Uslat Lanu, All Kartienu, Kimosasol King, Gamanatnu, Lakotiem Lanu, Veal Tevienu, Lade Nisayom, King Kal Senu, Min Hara, Kilaka, Hamamlaha, Veha Givera, Veha Tefieret, Leolameh, Olamin Sela. We thank thee, O Yahweh, O living and eternal King, who has so mercifully restored our souls within us. So let everything that has breath praise Yahweh.
Remember that this is the morning of the third day, and I shall rise again. I am the resurrection. All of prophecy tells you that I shall rise again. It's all about that. Luke chapter 2, verse 34. No doubt about it. Again, I love you forever, bless you forever. I remind you once again, my associates are children of the light. That just brings laughter to my heart, to my soul, to realize that at last I have those of you that love peace. And I only want to be in the presence of those of you that love peace. I love you forever. Shalom Aleichem.
So who is Yahweh? Yahweh is a name that you should know, because it's the duty of the Son of God to proclaim his Father's name. And here you have a whole bunch of people going to church, 400,000 churches, and they don't know the name of the Father. They say such silly things like, Father, God, help me. Both of them titles. Father is a title, God is a title. Who's going to answer to that? The purpose of the coming of the Son is to reveal the name of the Father. That's who he prayed to, our Father, and he called his name. He said, hallowed be, holy be thy name. How can it be holy to you and you don't know it? Interesting, isn't it? There are a lot more interesting questions than that about that situation. But when you begin to read your Bible, as I call this to your attention, you will discover from the Old Testament of Genesis all the way through Revelations, it's all about the name of the Father. It's all about his name. But somebody got you calling some other kind of name other than the Father's name. And you don't know his name. And unless you learn his name, then you're never going to move from poverty to riches. And if you don't come into the knowledge of the name. Haven't you ever wondered why it is that you have the same God, have the same churches, and the same names that white people have? I mean, have you noticed? You do. Our people have the same, right? Isn't it strange how God always answers white people's prayers? And black folks' prayers don't seem to be the same magnitude. You know, you say, well, I get my prayers answered. Well, why don't you ever get answered to be the ruler? I mean, you know, my people are always on their knees in front of white people asking white people to let them be accepted. Why do you need to ask white people for acceptance? Why don't you just ask God? Doesn't your God have enough power to make you accepted? Why can't you be the people that everybody else wants to be among? Why are you always running after somebody else to be among them? What's wrong with your God? Why do you have to go around always on your knees with your hat in your hand begging for a job from white people? Why don't your God just give you some jobs? Oh, I have to ask you some serious questions, because white people move from poverty to riches every day. Huh? They come from Russia, they come from Europe, they come from England, they come from all over the world with nothing on the ship. Come and get in your neighborhood. Come with a buggy and a basket and a wagon and push it around in your neighborhood and move from poverty to riches out of your pockets. You live in the neighborhood and stay poor and just pray all the time. You prayed enough to rule all the world. So who is Yahweh? Yahweh is the God of the Bible. He's the God of the Hebrews. In the beginning, Yahweh created the heavens and the earth. Yahweh is the man that beat up on Pharaoh. Y'all remember how he put plagues in Egypt? That was Yahweh did that. Yahweh is the one that when Pharaoh got real sassy, he drowned him in the Red Sea. That's Yahweh who did it. Yahweh is the man that when Daniel refused to bow down to another nation and quit facing the east and praying, when he refused to stop praying to his God, which was Yahweh, they said, well, we're going to put you in the lion's den, and starved him. Threw him in the lion's den. Yahweh locked the jaws of the lion. Lions could do him no harm. Rulers got scared. Came and got Daniel out and made him a ruler. Right? I just want you to know who Yahweh is. He made the sun, the moon, the stars, all what you see and haven't seen. Okay. So who is Yahweh ben Yahweh? I am his son. I am his son. That's who I am. I am the son of Yahweh. I don't care who else is the son or who else they are. It makes me no difference. I'm not here tonight concerning myself with who is the son of who. I'm the son of Yahweh. I have to tell you who I am. Yahweh is my father. I am his son. What makes me his son? What makes me Yahweh's son is I do not have a will outside of his. I have no thoughts, no ideas, and no program outside of Yahweh. You'll find that all that I ever do, all that I've ever done, and all that I'm ever going to do is found right in the Bible and is traced right to his will. No exception. I take no credit for all that I have built. It's all in his name. Yuhei-Wafe. That's one of the things that make me his son. Also, I have no difference in his word. I only speak his words. Even the words I've spoken to you thus far, the principles of those words are all in the Bible. Every single one of them is found in the Bible. No exceptions. So I walk as he says walk. I talk as he says talk. I act as he says act. I do whatever he says do. I have no idea of doing it any other way. Those are the things that makes me his son. I obey his laws, his statutes, his judgments, his commandments. That's why I'm successful. He said in his holy word that if I obey his laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments, that he would make everything, all the works of my hand would prosper. So all the works of my hands, it's prospering. I'm telling you why. Now, what about you? You might say, well, if you're the son of Yahweh, can I be? Of course you can. Of course you can be the sons of Yahweh. Every one of you can be. Every one of you can be the daughters of Yahweh. All you have to do is like I do. Obey his will, just like I do. You automatically become. You believe on his name, then you have eternal life. There's no other name under heaven that you can be saved in other than God who created it. You can't be saved in no name but the name of the one who created everything. And he gave his son a name higher than all the angels in heaven. What's the name higher than all the names that the angels could possibly have? The Father's name. There can be no name higher than the Creator's. So the son has to come in his father's name. Just like if your name is Davis, then your father was named Davis. If your name is Smith, your father's name was Smith. My name is Yahweh, so my father's name is Yahweh. That's logical.
Know and rest your mind assured. Our eyes have seen his works before. And until my last days, 'tis Yahweh I will praise. Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh. I certainly like to thank the most honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh for coming to us and teaching us who is Yahweh as no one else ever could do. Praise Yahweh. Also, I want to thank the most honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh for teaching us our true history, which used to be the world's best kept secret. Praise Yahweh. And now, a brief bio on the master teacher, the founder of the nation of Yahweh, the most honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh. Yahweh Ben Yahweh came to Miami, Florida alone in 1979 to become the spiritual leader and founder of the nation of Yahweh. Although he took a vow of poverty that same year, within 7 years, he guided the nation and those who followed his teachings and principles to amass an economic empire in the greater Miami area and throughout the United States worth over $250 million. Under his direction, the nation of Yahweh has grown to encompass disciples, followers, believers, and supporters in thousands of cities across the United States of America and indeed throughout the four corners of the earth. The University of Yahweh, for which he has established the curriculum and for which he has received great acclaim in educational excellence, currently has locations across the United States. The moral teachings of Yahweh Ben Yahweh is bringing about a change in the lives of individuals and causing them to take a different approach to life. This approach is based on the scripture which reads, "It is more blessed to give than to receive." Yahweh Ben Yahweh continues to give. That which he is given cannot be measured in monetary wealth. Yahweh Ben Yahweh is giving the world the keys to success in life politically, educationally, economically, socially, and spiritually. And now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Grand Master of the Celestial Lodge, the architect of the universe, the blessed and only potentate, the founder of the nation of Yahweh. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh.
I'm building my kingdom with you who voluntarily receive me. Behold, I stand at your door and I knock. Some of you are sitting back in there, got your door all locked up, hollering out, who is it? I don't mind telling you, Yahweh Ben Yahweh. And I'm calling out and saying, there's a terrible storm, it's a severe storm headed your way. And it's called the fall of Satan. And this is the time of Jacob's trouble. Only 12 names get that honor. Judah is the fourth tribe, and that's you. You're chosen to be the ruler. You're chosen to be the ruler. 1 Chronicles 28:4. You can't rule in this great city living like you live in America, or bringing the education of America into this great city, Holy Jerusalem. There's no room for your education. Why do we know? Because you didn't learn perfection. You didn't learn how to be perfect, so then all you have learned is of no value at all. So don't come to me with it. I don't want any of your ideas about anything. How about that? I don't want you telling me you helped me be successful. I'm successful already without your help. So I don't need your help now. You weren't around to help me when I came by myself. So no ideas you have of this world is going to work for you in heaven. You have to just let this old mind you have die. And just go on and die and get ready to be born again, because that's the only way you're going to enter. You have to die. Wait a minute now, you mean I got to go get buried? Now see, you don't understand. You sound like that man was talking to somebody 1900 years ago saying, well, is there any way you mean I got to go back into my mama's womb? No, fool, how long have you been around me all these years? No understand yet? Okay, I gave you something to read. 1 Chronicles 28:4. Read about Judah.
Howbeit, the Lord Yahweh, God of Israel, chose me before all the house of my father to be king over Israel forever. For he hath chosen Judah to be the ruler, and of the house of Judah, the house of my father, and among the sons of my father, he liked me, to make me king over all Israel.
Judah. Let's go to Jeremiah 13:19. And we'll find out a little bit more about Judah for a second. Jeremiah chapter 13, verse 19. Now Judah's chosen to be ruler how long? Forever. Let's see what happened to Judah. Jeremiah chapter 13, verse 19. Read.
The cities of the south shall be shut up, and none shall open them. Judah shall be carried away captive, all of it. It shall be wholly carried away captive.
Judah is chosen to rule forever. But Judah cannot rule in captivity. When you are made a captive, when you are made a slave, somebody else is ruling over you. And when you work, the money you work for never benefits you. The money benefits
the captor. That's why he captured you, is to take advantage of your labor. And he worked you for 310 years without a payday. And today, all the money you make is never enough to live on his lifestyle. Now that's the way it is. All that you make, you think of ways to give it back to the captor, because your mind is captured. So here's Judah, chosen to be the ruler forever, reduced to captivity. Somebody else is ruling over the one that God chose to be the ruler forever. Now, Yahweh will not be defeated because he said you would rule forever. So though you're in captivity, it requires Yahweh to come and take you from the capital. See? It's incumbent upon Yahweh to come and take those who want to get out of captivity. Out of it. See, there's some of our people are tired of everybody benefiting from their talents, but themselves and their own people and their own family. So they say, well, I'm going to work for God from now on. I'm going to work for Yahweh. And those of us that work for Yahweh, the world is bearing witness, we're blessed. We're rich. And we've only begun. We're so rich that the devils are trying to take $12.7 million from us. I mean, that's quite an honor. I mean, can you imagine, I am now so rich that devils are trying to take $12.7 million from me. What an honor. I mean, do you know how long niggas have worked and don't have nothing? You can't even be sued for that kind of money. I mean, you are in the big time when you can get sued for 12.7 million, boy. I mean, you have arrived. Right? I mean, just to make the papers that somebody's trying to take 12.7 million from you, you are big time. And then, you know, if I decide not to let them have it, that's even bigger time. You do know that Yahweh doesn't have to let them have a dime, don't you? You do understand that, don't you? Okay, all right. And see, we are still chosen to be the ruler. Nothing they can do can reduce us to captivity. Huh? If they could take this building, all we're going to do is get a bigger and a better one. I'm talking about instantaneous. Right away. I'll let them try to fix the roof on this one. I get one with the new roof. What I'm saying is, you can't stop Yahweh. And I'm here to take Judah, who's been brought into captivity. Now let's find out a little. Let's go to Jeremiah 14:2. Because see, you've been mourning and groaning. Read.
Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up.
Now see, when you get back to Revelation 21, see, the people that belong in Jerusalem are black unto the ground. Got it? You got the picture? The people, see, the people that are carried into captivity are from Jerusalem. They are of Jerusalem. And in Revelations, it's the holy Jerusalem is coming down. Christ gone up, and Yahweh who's up is going to bring Jerusalem down from himself. To who? To the captive, the one that's been a slave in America for 434 years.
Know and rest your mind assured. Our eyes have seen his works before, and until my last days, 'tis Yahweh I will praise. Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh. Wow. Woo. What a message, man. That particular message has stirred up a great fire in my soul. Wow. We had to kill off that old spirit, that old man, those old ways of Satan that was taught to us in slavery. We had to kill that off and let that go and be renewed. And that's the being born again. It's like being born again. It's like your second birth when you kill off that man that Satan taught all those lies to, and you believe him. We believed all those lies. But only way Satan can do that is by taking us in captivity and keeping our minds in captivity. And the only way we can be free is by listening to this word. That's why this word is so powerful. We have that and a whole lot more to talk about when we get to Power Talk. But we do have some announcements from our sponsors. Praise Yahweh.
Shalom Aleichem, family. This YouTube channel needs your help. As you know, good works in this world will never be monetized. So I'm asking that the supporters, followers, true believers, and disciples of Yahweh to help this channel to continue to publish the good works and the fame of the Most High, Yahweh. Praise Yahweh. How much do you love Yahweh? Put your money where your heart is and be blessed. And now, your video.
What do all these people have in common besides a beautiful smile, healthy teeth, and gums? They all use Zadi toothpaste. Zadi toothpaste is made with all natural ingredients. Zadi toothpaste is fortified with moringa and baking soda. Zadi toothpaste is suds-free, making it an excellent choice for kids. All natural, fortified, and suds-free. Get yours today at noystore.com.
important that
Praises unto Yahweh, and Yahweh bin Yahweh. From the nation of Yahweh,
YahwehRadio.com.
So glad I'm with Yahweh.
YahwehRadio.com.
step on into
YahwehRadio.com.
Let nobody
turn me away from Yahweh.
YahwehRadio.com.
Yahweh bin Yahweh is a great God and a great King above
YahwehRadio.com.
holy name. You ain't worthy. It's truly God. Yeah.
Neo Jazz School of Music, creating space for young people to express and to grow. Now with 2 locations, New Orleans and Miami. Enroll today at neojazz.org.
Yahweh Virtual University has completed its beta phase. We are so thankful to Yahweh for all of our supporters because we could not have done it without you. We are excited to say that our beta phase was a true success. Those that participated in our beta testing enjoyed self-paced and interactive learning online, live online classes with our YVU teachers, assistance with structuring and setting up their homeschool. Our students had so much fun learning with their classmates, and they enjoyed daily homework and so much more. During our beta phase, we gathered useful information and feedback from all of you. According to the needs of our children and our nation as a whole, we received a large amount of requests for online learning to support children between the ages of 8 and 15, as well as online classes for parents and adults. We at Yahweh Virtual University heard you loud and clear. In order to provide these much needed requests, and because we are a small team, we have paused our online classes for now and are back in our building phase. Again, we are truly thankful to all of our supporters, and we want you to know that we are taking this duty to rescue our future very seriously. Please visit our website for more updates and be blessed. Praise Yahweh forever.
Praise Yahweh. So many things going on in the world today. So it's refreshing to see the fact that we are dedicated to rescuing our future. And we are dedicated to creating sovereign spaces for our children, like the Neo Jazz School of Music. That's one of those spaces where children come and learn how to use their talent and develop their talent. And We know the scriptures about burying talents. And also the YVU, Yahweh Virtual University, the place to educate young and to rescue our future. And if we will have a future, if we are going to have a future, we have to rescue. That means we have to sacrifice ourselves so that we can have a future. We can't go around in a dead state, working hard all our lives to benefit other people's children and other people's legacy and their great grandchildren. The work that you do today on your job benefits the job owner's great grandchildren and on and on. And so that's what the message was about today. The most honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh taught us that, in order to kill that old man, we have to come into a new mindset. It's like being born again. When you're being born again, you have to be retaught. Every aspect of life, you have to be retaught about the world. You have to be retaught about how to walk in this world, how to talk in this world, how to eat in this world. And every aspect of life, you have to do it a different way. And if you hang on to those old ways, that's just hanging on to the aspect of that man that you're supposed to kill off. So you're holding on to the death that you used to have. Some of us have been taught to enjoy death. We enjoy death so much that we live for it. We go to work, and when we're not at work, we're going out there doing some of these things that cause death, cause spiritual death. I won't be dying. How can I do it every week if I die? Well, every week you die a little more spiritually. But the message was about we have to kill that old man and be born again. And then he talked about how being Judah, we would take it into captivity. To everything we do benefits other people. At first, it was just the European. Well, at first it was the Spanish. Let's get this historically correct. When we came and built St. Augustine, Florida in 1555, we started building that city. That city was founded in 1565. But a group of Hebrew slaves built that city, and we were slaves to the Italians at that time. The Spanish. I mean, I'm trying to the Italians and Spanish. I'm getting them mixed up. The Spanish. That's why they talk about 1616 being the start of the slave trade, because that's when the English jumped into it. Okay, but that's not when, what's his name? The explorer that they say discovered America. He was from Portugal. He was one of those Spanish explorers. What's his name?
Vespucci.
Him? No, Christopher Columbus.
I thought you were talking about Amerigo.
Vespucci. He was the one who stumbled across America first, but that's not in our history, so that's irrelevant. The relevant part of it is that when they began to take the tribe of Judah out of Africa enslaved, that's when everything that we do benefits them. Since that moment in time in 1555, since that moment of time, everything Judah has done, the people who are chosen to rule forever, everything we have done since that point has benefited other people. And you wonder why some of us are very frustrated, the ones of us who are awakened to this fact, who are born again and understand that we have to be our own independent nation and we have to use our talents. We're frustrated using our talents to benefit them and to benefit their children. and to benefit their grandchildren and their great grandchildren. Our work today makes them wealthy. Are you not upset and angry about that fact that you got to go to a job that you can barely, you don't have no take-home pay because they tax it, and then all of the stuff that you got to do to survive goes, all that money goes out, and you have nothing at the end of that transaction except a job to go back to do it again. Sister Tamar.
Wow. And even if you own the job, the cost of owning jobs,
they tricked you again,
is even greater. Because most of the time you own your own job.
When you
become a business owner,
right?
You're owning your own labor, which is amazing.
Absolutely,
in itself. But the other side of that, the cost of that.
Well, that's the systems that Satan has set up for you to trick you. Even if you get to be somewhat of a little bit of consciousness and you happen to own your own business, you in essence own your own job, because all of the costs surrounding keeping your business going is benefiting others. Your supplier is getting rich off you buying supplies from him. The taxes that you having to pay and the employees that you having to pay is making it to where you barely. I've had a business that when I finished doing payroll, my employees made more money than I did.
That's pretty typical.
It's pretty darn bad too.
That's pretty typical in Black-owned small businesses, contrasting white business ownership. They have ownership model.
Fully funded. They fully funded.
You know, and you know, not to say there aren't small, small white-owned businesses that are struggling, but there are many statistics that name the struggles of how Black-owned small businesses are struggling, far and vastly contrasting to their other nationalities across the country.
Well, we know that's totally by design. In other words, they created that to be that way. They created this society to be that way. Have you noticed that everybody can get something except the so-called Black man of America? Everybody can come to America and get resources and experience this so-called American experiment of wealth and stuff, except the so-called Black man of America, except the slave of America. You could be a Hindu, Indian that looks darker than we are. That's not about your skin color. That's one of those satanic games that make you think it's because it's color of your skin. But they can come to this country, the Koreans, anybody can come to this country and get wealthy off of you. But you cannot get wealthy off of you. You can't come together to use that wealth to build your own nation. Can't you understand? Can't you see the curse? Yeah.
And to be clear, this is not about the skin color game at all, because the harsh reality of it is, if there's a group of people that have the mindset that can do this to one nationality, you better believe they have the capacity and the mindset to do it to all. And so that is the reality. And in today's message, Yahweh Ben Yahweh said so much. And one thing that it really highlighted for me was about how, and you spoke of this, how we have to kill that old mindset. There is no room for the education we learned in America to be in occupancy at New Jerusalem. We can't
be there.
It won't be there. And embedded in this information is the idea of how we've been taught to live. We have to figure out and identify that the way we are living our lives, our lifestyles have all in itself a built-in mechanism to keep you in captivity and benefit the captors.
And Judah cannot rule in captivity. Those chosen rulers can't rule in captivity.
And furthermore, what has also happened, as I just spoke of, about the mindset of the people who created this system, their capacity to doing it to one people, they have successfully deployed this trap to all people.
Well, the scripture I was gonna mention earlier when you were saying that the scripture that talks about those who lead in captivity shall go into captivity. When we consider the systems that were set up to enslave Judah, to be the captivity of Judah, these same systems are now deployed all over the world, and we saw a big rollout test of them when they had this lockdown situation. Now, in the lockdown situation, it was like martial law. It means that you have to do exactly what the authorities tell you. Now, those authorities work for you. You're supposed to be their boss, all the way to the politicians in the government, and all of them programs in the government are funded off of your taxes, supposedly, and you elect officials that represent you and what you want. When was the last time this government represented what you want? Well, people have lost track and sight. They have went into a deep slumber about, oh, we're supposed to do what the government tell us to do. No, the government's supposed to do what the people want. And in the Constitution, it says when they don't do that, they are illegal government. So we're seeing what Yahweh ben Yahweh taught us about the collapse of the destruction of America, how Yahweh judges America. We can read that book and we can see all about the fate of America and those who are in captivity in America voluntarily.
And at this point in time, we also recognize that this captivity is beyond the enforcement of a physical servitude, though we do know that our physical labor now does benefit our captors. Our reality is every element of our lifestyles benefit those who have us in captivity. Globally, worldwide, a small percentage of the world's population is in control of all of the world's resources. And many of us are living our lives in accordance with the system they've created to continue that imbalance of power.
And the battery, the energy to that system is the people, because when the people say no, it's over.
It's our labor.
When the people say no, no thank you, we're not going to do that, it's over. So Satan have to deceive as many people as he can to go along with it. And see, the children of Yahweh are the righteous rulers or the righteous leaders. So he had to make sure that the captivity of Judah be so deep that we would never get out there and lead the planet to freedom and sovereignty in the laws of Yahweh. See, when you're in the laws of Yahweh, you have one governor, you have one mayor, you have one president, you have one leader, you have Yahweh as your president. And his law, statute, judgments, and commandments are the laws of the land. And that means you govern yourself in harmony by Yahweh's standard.
And that also means you choose to be governed by ethical, moral behavior.
That's the standard.
That's the standard. The standard is ethics. And what we see here in the current rule, the current government, is an unethical, hence the imbalance of power, unethical rulership. And this captivity consists of our education, our labor, our money, all the resources that are available to us to, for us being alive. We actually generate resources from us being alive, and people have figured out how to make money from that.
Well, you know how deep that goes about them generating money by us being alive.
Just by you being alive. We're not going to
talk about the birth certificate and maritime law and Sesticade by and all of these things that the conscious ones of us understand the devil's deceptions and all of his jurisprudence and all of his legal dealings and all his Black's law, all his language that you have no idea what he's talking about when you appear before him in there the game court. It's a game. A court, you play games in the court, basketball on the court, you got all of this stuff, but it's the same allegorical thing when you're going to appear before Satan in his courts. But the point is that everything we do benefits our captor. We are still in captivity. We are still ruled over by an incompetent captor or master. And every time we make money, he taxes it to death, takes most of it in taxes. Then everything else you spend with him for the basic necessities. And the more money you make, the more you spend with him. You get a bigger house, and, you get a bigger car, you get a bigger, more wardrobe, a bigger, he just taught us to do that. But never do we take ourselves out of his system, and every dime that he get out of our system, every dime you get out of this system, and pool it together with other like-minded people and build our own systems that we can cut him loose. We can cut him loose by being able to grow our own food. We can cut him loose. People think about how people lived back in the day without power, and they survived. They didn't have running water, and they survived all the way to this point. Now, we don't have to do anything like that, because those technologies we invented, running water in the house and indoor plumbing and all of these things we invented. So, I mean,
that alludes to the
exactly.
Captivity, the capture,
mental captivity,
the capture of our talents. And that's another thing that we have to come to a realization and an awakening of, is that your creative nature, because you are the children of the Most High Yahweh, there's an innate creative nature that allows you to have this capacity to have amazing ideas that are innovative, and you are able to meet so many different needs. And it's incumbent upon Yahweh in this message, Yahweh being Yahweh, shared to us that he's gonna rescue us, take us away from our captors, give us the education and the mind that we need, return us to the laws of Yahweh, put us back in the state and conditions that we understand how we're supposed to be living our lives. The rule of the law gives us a judgment of how we're supposed to be eating, sleeping, doing whatever we need to do with our children, educating ourselves, saving money.
And no other leader in history has came to us with the laws of Yahweh in order to accomplish this. All other leaders that had a little insight to this system, and that we need to do this and do that, we need to go back and be sovereign in some other land. All of these leaders that have come and gone, and they were sent by Yahweh to teach us to just hold on. Don't give up. Salvation is coming. Well, Yahweh himself had to come back. He had to come in the flesh and bring his law, statute, judgments, and commandments back to our people. Bring our people back to a sovereign mindset. See, there are those of us who are seeking that physical sovereignty and seeking to come together with each other and pool our resources and buy buildings and buy land and build buildings and build a community and build a nation physically. We're not talking about, we're gonna wait over here, and what's the songs? I'm gonna sit out down when I go to heaven after I die, and I'm gonna die, and all of this stuff. These old Negro spiritual stuff. Our rescue has come. And he have left a legacy, the word, with us. With that word, we can build New Jerusalem. Even though it's built for us, we can build ourselves to be ready to move right in. Because it is coming. It is coming down. That's what the message is about. New Jerusalem. Are you able to live in New Jerusalem? See, in this world, everything we do is benefiting somebody else, and we have to only we can change that. Now, that don't mean like I gotta stop associating with him. No, you have to be smart. You have to be wise. You have to extract the resources you need from him, just like he extracted the resources he needs from you.
Yes, sir. And this, thinking about this reminds me of Matthew chapter 11, verse 28 through 30, which reads, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest upon your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." So I really
You talking about lightweight.
not in terms of density, like we talking about brightness, brilliance, intelligence, and taking this knowledge of Yahweh gives us insight to all these inequities that we see are things that are imbalances in the society that we live
And all
in.
these distractions that they want us to get caught up in, so we don't notice how deep in slavery and deep in death that we really are.
And having this light also imbues us with the knowledge of how to benefit from our own talents and our labor, whether we do have to go get a job and create a savings plan so that we can move to another, from one state to another.
Well, you just mentioned about that, why is it that people make money off of your talent and they get rich off of your talent and you barely survive? Look at the music industry. And
all
look at,
industries.
all these industries that people have potential making a whole lot of money. But the people who are exploiting their talents are making wealth, generational wealth, while they making enough money to go make it rain in the club.
All these current industries are set up with immoral and unethical behavior. Excuse me, immoral and unethical behavior. And that is the reality. We are those who are to bring the reality of ethical, moral behavior onto the planet and be that light through the yoke of Yahweh.
Absolutely. When we take his yoke upon us and learn of him, he said that's so powerful. Even with the word take, it's so powerful. When we understand, those of us who have been studying Yahweh ben Yahweh for some time, we know his teachings on the word take, how many definitions it is. And if you don't know, go look up the word take and see how many definitions there are for that word. And then we have to exercise every single one of those words in taking Yahweh's earth back to the righteous way it was created to be before Satan was given his time to rule. We know Satan's time has been up. What is this, the year 6026?
Praise Yahweh. Yes,
I mean, his time has been up for 26 years.
Yes, sir. When we are now at that time where we can allow, invite our family into the conversation and join us in conversation, in Power Talk. Yahweh ben Yahweh said so much. And I do believe those of us who are on the Zoom, you are able to press *6 to unmute yourselves if you're dialed in, or just press the unmute button or raise your hand. But we encourage you to get your comments in early and join us in this wonderful conversation around taking back. Praise Yahweh.
Taking back our sovereignty. Yahweh gave it to us. He came to the planet and gave it to us, but he didn't just wipe out our enemies in a swift motion of his hand. It's a process of purging that we have to go through to live in New Jerusalem. And that's the process that we're going through right now. It's a choice. It's your choice. Do you want to live in New Jerusalem? Do you want to purge yourself? Do you want to become sovereign? Do you want to use the proceeds from whatever way you making ends or money to profit you more than your captor? Do you want to be free from your captor? What the singing group say, free your mind. Yes, it's time for us to free our minds. And we know what follows. Yahweh is the freedom of our mind, the word of Yahweh. Praise Yahweh. Well,
And one thing that really is also resonating with me about this conversation today is how we are able to benefit from all of our labor. Like if we understood how things were at one point and how we are able to create in New Jerusalem, what that really means is everything that you do benefit you and the people around you. And so that word labor is just really intense when you look into the root and the etymology of it and how it goes back to the exertion of your energy. All your energy is being currently extracted upon to benefit someone else's household, someone else's economy. Now, how beautiful and blessed would it be for us to have that energy redirected so it benefits us internally?
Well, we are the ones that have to redirect that, our wealth back to ourselves. Right now, as a people, we spend trillions. That's with an S. That's more than 1 trillion. We spend trillions of dollars with all other nations. These places like South Korea have built their military off selling us hair, off selling us fake hair. We so fake that we built a country's military off of buying fake hair. Now, what can we do with those few pennies? I don't know how much hair costs, but if we donated that money to one place, you know, we can build our own military. And it is nothing more than a community that is controlled by us. And when you have a private community, you know, the police are not allowed on private property. They can't come and police you on private property. You have to call and invite them. So if you have your own security, you can eliminate them in your neighborhood. You have to build a neighborhood, of course, which is easy to do. I know developers that are building neighborhoods today. I know developers I've worked for in construction that built neighborhoods, and they just regular people. And they're not that smart. They have people like me who are smart working for them.
Well, I do want to again continue to invite our family to join us in conversation today. We are in conversation more about Holy Jerusalem and how Yahweh is here to give us this knowledge in rescuing us, freeing us from our captivity, and just encourage you all to just consider owning your own labor. We do have a caller.
Praise Yahweh.
Caller with your line unmuted.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Praise Yahweh, Ben Yahweh, our true Savior and Deliverer. This is such a powerful class. One of the things that stood out in my mind when Yahweh first started speaking was that he stated, do not bring anything from this world into our heaven. So he's saying that we literally have to be aware of everything that we have been indoctrinated with, everything that we grew up with, everything that we have been inoculated with in this system. We have to drop it, literally leave it alone. And I just wanted to mention also, Yahweh said that as in the days of Noah, so will it be today. And if you look up the word Noah, literally his name is comes from the Hebrew numeral H5146, and it means rest. So Yahweh is telling us to literally just rest in him, trust in him, believe in the power that Yahweh has. Matthew 11:28-30, let me see, it says, come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Yahweh Ben Yahweh gave us the remedy. We should not be worried about anything that this world is doing, because I guarantee you, just as in the time when in Lot's day, when they came pressing on his door, trying to get into his home, Yahweh intervened. But trust me, there's the time right now as we see that press to go along with the evil and the wickedness that's going around. Don't worry, rest in Yahweh. Have your soul strong in Yahweh, and he will be there for us as long as we do not trust in the enemy. Praise Yahweh, family. Thank you for allowing me to share. Love you all.
Praise Yahweh. I thank Yahweh for him giving you wisdom to
Yes,
share,
sir.
and
Praise
you
Yahweh.
sharing that wisdom with us. Praise Yahweh.
Indeed. I mean, it's just amazing how we have that full cycle of understanding that rest is a part of our true reality.
Rest from the oppression that we've been
Mhm.
suffering for the last 6,000 years.
We've been given an artificial lifestyle to subscribe to, family.
Yeah.
At the core of what we're discussing here, someone has manufactured a way of being for you to exist in, and you have the choice. You choose to live in an ethical, moral behavior. Excuse
You
me.
can choose to live that, or you can choose to live into what you've been taught by this world, by Satan and the gods of this world. They taught you lust, greed, envy, cheating. Well, I don't have to go through it. You know what we've been taught from children all the way. We watch TV, we watch movies, we listen to the music, the radio, and now with the social media and stuff, every stupid person has an opinion, and they'll comment, you know. That's just like there was some scriptures being said and somebody said, well, you're the devil. I'm like, okay. You know, it's like, are you a robot, or are you a real person, or you just felt like expressing that, you know, because that's the stupidity of the world. They have no comprehension. But it's not about those people, because those are the people that are fuel for the fire
Mhm.
in the pit of the lake of fire that burns. We're taught that all liars and all whoremongers and unbelieving people shall have their place in that lake. They didn't say the righteous. The scripture didn't say the righteous have their place in that lake. So we can get out of the lake. We don't have to be in the lake of fire. We choose to be in it. We choose to, I got this job, I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna keep this job till I retire, and I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna get my house and my car, and I'm gonna sit down, and I'm gonna be just retire and die. You know, and that's your life, is to retire and die. Your goal in life is to retire and die.
We do want to continue to invite our family.
If they want to come in and comment, because we're not the people that here to retire and die. We know that a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. So my life, if I'm not accumulating the wealth of Yahweh, my father owns the planet, it's an insult to be poor if you call yourself a child of Yahweh. Yahweh owns everything and you own nothing. It's time for us to stop playing around and pool the resources that we have and build for ourselves, which we've done numerous times in the past. We've even done that in this country. After slavery, we built numerous cities, numerous communities. Some of those cities are still here today. Now, with the consciousness of Yahweh, with the dry bones coming together, why it is that we being slow on coming together and building people, family? That's what the question is. Why are we taking our time like we got forever to build? Now is the time for Judah to wake up, rise and shine, for thy light has come. And it's time for us to utilize that for the children of Yahweh to have our own sovereign nation. And Yahweh did it within a nation. He did it back in the 80s.
And we understand it's going to take us
with no internet.
He sure did. And he came in giving us a new education, a new mind a new way of thinking, a new way of being. And it is important that we continue doing that work, taking on that new mind, that new way of thinking, that new education, and that new way of being. That is a real truth, because we understand the truth of this world, this America is going down with the fire and brimstone that we see in this lake of fire that's taking place. But those of us who choose light, Yahweh's burden is light, then we're choosing to go to the path of towards New Jerusalem. But we have to take those old ways and remove them from ourselves. And Yahweh's Nation Building Institute and all the educational tools that we're pulling together are just some of the very beginning steps of us doing the work so that we're able to make way for ourselves.
Well, when you look at prophecy being fulfilled and all nations are ganging up against America, they're coming against the dollar, the American dollar. They're not using the petrodollar anymore. Nations are coming together and saying we're going to use roll out a currency based on actual assets and different things like that. That's just the fulfillment of Revelations when it talks about all nations standing back and watching America burn. Then we have a buffoon or a baboon, I don't know, a buffoon in office that is truly, it's a shame that they would parade a senile man suffering from all kinds of things, parade him around as a leader when, anybody logical know that he can't lead himself to the restroom. He was one shot, they called some blind man leading him around. Literally, they had a blind man and he held on to his arm being led by this blind man, and he got footage of it. So we understand that, like Sister Tamar was saying, that it's time for the resources to benefit us. It's time for our resources. We ain't even talking about their resources. We can care less about taking from them. We want to put what we have together to benefit us. That's where we're at.
Well, Yahweh Ben Yahweh came demonstrating models of success, and it's one of those things that we have to take on as case studies of how these businesses were organized, the amount of education that continued in the organization so that they can grow and continue to meet needs and be competitive. And the marketplace is intended to make it difficult for Black-owned businesses to compete, as we
almost impossible.
Almost impossible. So working collectively was a clearly demonstrated strategy that Yahweh Ben Yahweh showed us that works successfully. And so collectively owned, collectively shared, collectively managed enterprises are a way forward to us to have these businesses that meet our needs.
So you're saying the way we benefit and take care of our own needs is by having cooperative businesses to where we cooperate with each other and establish these businesses for our own resources. Say, for example, if we put together money and open a grocery store that we all shopped at, we all got our groceries from this store, then not only are we patronizing ourselves, but we also providing for ourselves the ability to feed ourselves.
That's right.
Just by cooperating and opening up a grocery store, and we link that grocery store to our own farm.
One of
our farm provides resources for the. Go ahead.
One of the major feats that Yahweh Ben Yahweh did is he opened up several grocery stores simultaneously across the country. And that model was the ownership models. And so we want to really highlight how we can actually make strong foundations through our motto, one God, one mind, one love, and one action. That's being united in how we do that. So yes, cooperative models are a way that we can lessen the burden of owning a business. But the reality is, one of the realities is there is a strategy to collective ownership. And so hopefully we can find a way and a path so that we can actually teach these strategies and have these shared learnings. But I do believe we have a caller that was trying to join the conversation. Caller with your line unmuted. You are now live on Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Praise Yahweh. How y'all doing?
We are doing excellent.
Great,
Todai
brother.
Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh. You know, I wanted to touch on this because we've been talking about this, and I see us coming collectively in one direction mentally, but physically we're doing something else. To me, I feel like this is that time. We've been given the prototype, and when we deviate from the prototype, we see the results. We try to give people a stand up on their individual businesses, but that doesn't necessarily mean that benefits us as a collective. And I think that we need to get back to the prototype, which is what I was saying in the chat, which is the prototype was, in order for us to have a grocery store, we had to grow our own food. So we need to get back to that specifically. That's the first thing, because it's the most scary. You know, when things break down, we need to be able to feed ourselves. And if we have that ability, everything else can be handled underneath that. But on the business aspect, what Abba showed us is that we needed to have Yahweh businesses, period. Businesses that are responsible to the nation of Yahweh and that are Yahweh businesses. That we can take the proceeds from those businesses and reinvest them into more businesses. Individuals are not going to accomplish this in a short period of time. It's just not going to happen. Our Abba showed us exactly what we needed to do, and we can get there in a shorter period of time. It's what's efficient. So if we deviate from this, we're not going to make it. If we follow the prototype, Yahweh businesses, reinvest into more Yahweh businesses, land, food, we will be perfectly fine, and we will usher in this new Jerusalem quicker than we could ever imagine. Praise Yahweh. I love you, family.
Praise Yahweh.
Yeah,
We
thank you.
love you, family, and thank Yahweh for your comments.
Absolutely. Praise Yahweh.
You know, what's really resonating in all of this is, you know, family, we just need to see the how. How do we do this? How do we do this today?
That's exactly what Yahweh Nation Building Institute is being established for. So it ain't even, you know, it's the how and it's the what we need to, how we need to do it, and what we need to put our resources in first. And that's what we're developing. That's exactly what, just like what the brother was saying before, grocery stores, we need to be able to grow our own food. You know, so that means an organic farm. But even meanwhile, there are Black-owned organic farms right now that need support. And they looking for people to get their foods, their organic foods, and patronize. So even as we grow our own food, say it takes us a few years to get our farm up and running, there are farms right now, Black-owned farms. There are Hebrew Black-owned farms.
Oh, yes.
That I know of that we can begin to patronize and get products from for our grocery store, or just for our nation, for our people, so we can have our own products that we can indulge in, and we know we helping to keep this perpetual.
And we have to be innovative in today's time by beginning to create outlets for these exchanges to take place. So NOIstore.com is one such outlet that is now featuring a new product that's available on NOI Store, BuyBlackMovement.com, Zadi toothpaste, which is an amazing consumable that's meeting needs. You know, we talk about creating something that meets needs. We start one thing at a time, and we find ways to get behind that one thing and support it.
Well, let me clarify something that may have been kind of pushed together and you may not have heard right. We have the Zadi toothpaste on NOIstore.com. Mm-hmm. It's also featured on another platform, the Buy Black Movement. But we encourage you to go to our platform, NOIstore.com, and we have absolutely, and we have a feature where you can see all the other products that we offer.
Oh yeah, we do have our Yahweh books and
absolutely
shirts and merchandise. So yes, sir.
And the books, the knowledge that is there, you know, not only did the most honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh write books, but some of his disciples wrote books, and we have some books from Yahweh Ben Yahweh disciples on the website also. And that's what I wanted to mention, is that is much more on noystore.com. So visit noystore.com and check out the store. Praise Yahweh. But, you know, please patronize all our sponsors. You know, and like we were talking about the Institute, the reason the Institute is being formed is so we can come together and form our cooperative businesses together and pool our resources and learn just how Yahweh Ben Yahweh taught us to do it. You know, we have a lot of different people doing various levels of study, and Yahweh Ben Yahweh said it'll be that way, and they get to a certain level of study and they think they have it all. Well, Yahweh's knowledge is infinite. Anybody who thinks they have it all is deceiving themselves. We have to continue to study our entire life. We have to intensively study the word of Yahweh forever. It's not something you do for 4 years and you got a degree and you're done studying for the rest of your life. No, this is not. This is infinite study, infinite wisdom. What we're doing together will transcend this world. This world is not even a real world. It is like a matrix. Satan is in control for a short time. His time is up. It's our time. What are we waiting on? What are we waiting on? Well, let's not wait anymore.
Praise Yahweh.
And it looked like he was pulling up a word about. The thing about it is our captivity is mental now. Our captivity ain't physical. They're not holding a gun to your head to keep you captive. They scaring you with guns, you know, the militarized police, the army, you know, and all of that stuff, and they bombs, and, you know, they make you scared. Oh, they can come, the IRS got all these agents, they can come and arrest me and shoot me if I don't pay them the extortion money, call it taxes, extortion money. And so you make sure you pay it, because you don't want that to be a repercussion. But at what expense? That's something for you to determine, you know. And holding up his world is only delaying the building of our world, Yahweh's world, the world that this earth was created to be. So the more you support the devil, the more breath of life he can cling to because of your support. Now, you support Yahweh and the things of Yahweh, and you start putting your money towards it, and you'll see the difference. And see, that's the thing. We think, I only have a few dollars. I can't give that much. You know, I know the YouTube channel needs my support. I can't give to the YouTube channel. I can't make a donation. I can't pay tithes at the same time. But at the same time, you go out, you eat, you go to the grocery store, you go to the gas station, you go and support all those businesses every single day. And you can't see how you can support the nation of Yahweh every single day. That's the mental choice that you make. Keep Satan alive, or begin to put some of those resources in something that is being formed for you and your future.
And that goes back to really understanding what it means to not have the education we learned in America, to rule our day-to-day. There are things that America has given us that has captivated our minds. And, you know, when we say being held in captivity, that there's a thing about our minds being held captivated. And that word cap, the root word of cap is cap, which means we accept. We're accepting this in its etymology, but also captivate. When you think about what this word captivate means, it means to get back to it real quick. To attract or hold the interest and attention. So we've been enchanted, beguiled, entranced. And that also that word beguile goes back to the original sin.
Well, but then you said something that just totally threw my mind. And when you said in a trance,
in trance,
if you see people walking around with their phones, it's like they're in a trance. It's like they're a zombie. It can't take their eyes off of it, and they run it into traffic and bump it into walls
and so that is just the that is the progression of the programming that has taken place. That is the education of America that we speak of over the years, a systematic process of programming that has led us up to this crescendo of now the handheld devices,
right?
That we're captivated while we're walking with these devices, and our minds are mentally distracted with whatever these things are telling us we should be doing.
Absolutely, and it's a constant thing because it's portable. It's in your hand. You got to take a survey and write down how much time your phone is in your hand. This device is in your hand a day. That's just something for your own information, so you can begin to see yourself. Wow, I spend 10 hours a day with this thing in my hand. Or I spend 8 hours a day.
As I put my phone back down.
Exactly. So this is a challenge, family, because we have to move on. This is an inferior technology as it relates to Yahweh's technology in New Jerusalem. But that does bring us to the end of this episode of Unfolding Light. And we thank all of Yahweh's children for being here. Thank all the people for patronizing the Unfolding Light and the businesses of the nation of Yahweh, and indeed the nation of Yahweh. And we will see you back here again next week, Yahweh willing, with another episode of the Unfolding Light. That brings us to the end of this episode of the Unfolding Light. Please join us next week for another episode of the Unfolding Light. And now, if everybody will stand and face the east with outstretched hand, as we close out this episode with a prayer, the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Tefillah. Avenu Shabbat Shemayim, Yikadesh Shemeaka, Tavo Malkuterka, Yad Zerizonka, Kim Vashamayim came by Aretz, et Lekam Kukenu, Tain Lanu Hayom, Uslat Lanu, All Kartienu, Kimosa Sol King, Gamanatnu, Lakotiem Lanu, Veal Tevienu, Lade Nisayom, King Kal Senu, Min Hara, Kilaka, Hamamlaha, Veha Givera, Veha Tefieret, Leolame, Olamin Sela. We thank thee, O Yahweh, O living and eternal King, who has so mercifully restored our souls within us. So let everything that has breath praise Yahweh. And always remember, Yahweh loves you, Yahweh Ben Yahweh loves you, and so does the nation of Yahweh. Shabbat Shalom, family.
Thank you for joining the Unfolding Light, presented by the Nation of Yahweh. If you have any comments or questions, please email us at info@thenationofyhwh.com. Follow us online at thenationofyahweh.com, theunfoldinglight.com, and at yahwehbenyahweh.biz. Get social with us. Follow the Nation of Yahweh on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, do remember to pay Yahweh and yourselves first, and don't touch it, as instructed by the Honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh. You can send your tithes, donations, and offerings to the Nation of Yahweh at P.O. Box 555-115, Orlando, Florida 32855. And be blessed continually according to Malachi chapter 3 verse 10. Praise Yahweh. Shalom, shalom.
Stop your crying. It's gonna be alright. Stop your lying, children. It's gonna be alright. Stop worrying. That's this wording going on. It's gonna be alright, man. Cause you see, Yahweh Ben Yahweh is here now. Well, he's a man with a wonderful, wonderful life. You'll be praying all night long. Well, cause you see, you don't know if you're gonna get up in the morning and lose your home. Well, cause you see, I got all these children going on, and I don't want them to starve. And that's why you got to go and bow down to somebody who ain't God. A man on your job. Well, yeah. The mighty God is here now. The Son. I'm talking about the Son, Yahweh, Ben Yahweh. So you can quit all this foolishness and going on, but we living in a brand new day. Well, stop your moaning. It's gonna be alright. Stop your groaning, children. It's gonna be alright. Stop your crying. You don't have to have no more kids. Cause you see, Yahweh, when Yahweh came, round about on this time, it's short now years. Well, stop your begging. It's time to do your part. And quit being lazy, my children. That it's time to stop. Stop doing what you want to do. Stop doing the things you're supposed to do. Get up off of your knees and be so good. Study real hard because he said you know you could. Well, be the way he wants you to be because he said he know you can. He want all the sisters to join together and be woman and all the brothers to be men.